take over many instruments right in the city. But partially because we didn't understand what complete freedom meant, and partially because the empire struck back, we began to lose ground right here in the city of Detroit. Because we had always said, us in the provisional government, that no two powers can occupy the same place at the same time. And we kept trying to find ways we could get along with Ford or General Motors or Chrysler, and obviously there was reasons for that, because they controlled the economy. We even, and our great mayor, Coleman Young, even went against us when we said we were going to boycott General Motors because they were involved in South Africa. Because he was concerned that we would upset the balance of economics here in the city of Detroit.
And he was saving cougar rounds. He was saving cougar rounds.
He was saving cougar rounds too, we found out. Or somebody was saving them for him. Okay. Somebody was saving them in his name. But in any event, and what Coleman's limitations were represented what our limitations were. Don't just put it on Coleman, you got to put it on yourself. Because you understand that the leadership reflects the readiness of the people.
That's right.
And if the people ain't ready, then the leaders aren't going to be ready to do everything that has to be done. But this is the truth. And so we stopped. We actually began to disorganize ourselves. We actually had groups that were strong, like the Pan-African Congress and many other groups that came through the city that began to kind of deorganize. And at the same time, the government was working on a destabilization program. They were working on counterintelligence programs, like the sister just pointed out, COINTELPRO, and all kind of Red Squad programs here. And what that meant is that they were taking the organizations which had led us to where we were and beginning to destroy them in various different ways. All kind of dirty tricks, all kind of putting people in jail who shouldn't have been in jail. The incarceration rate began to accelerate. And at the same time, even though they could find movement people everywhere and find a reason to put them in jail everywhere, they couldn't stop drugs, they said, from coming into the community. So drugs began to flow into the community unfettered. And just so coincidentally, as the United States was in Vietnam, and the chief crop in Vietnam was heroin, the drugs came into the community mostly were heroin, right? And then later on, when the United States had left Vietnam, we were in Nicaragua, where the chief narcotic crop is cocaine. The main drug that was problematic to our community became cocaine. And so we found out that agents of the United States were actually helping smuggle the drugs into the country. And they were bringing the drugs into the country, and that the black communities were becoming destabilized. And that coexisted with a creation of destabilization in the economic system.
That's right.
In the economic system, rather than taking a choice that the unions had tried to force them to make a long time ago, they said everybody knew automation was going to come. But they said, well, look, let's cut the work week to 4 days. So therefore, you can keep paying these people at the same rate, and you can give them what they would make for 5 days, but then you cut the work week to 4 days so you don't have to lay anybody off. You make more profits because not only do you have people working, but you have machines working, right? And you can do other things in order to enhance the economy so that the people will continue to make money. But the businesses were reactionary. The businesses were what they are. They were capitalist businesses. They were low-down capitalist businesses who believed only in their own wealth, and so they would lay people off in order to make more profits. And then once they laid off those people and they saw their profits still threatened, they laid more people off. They got caught up in a vicious cycle where rather than creating more people who could buy cars, they were creating less people that could buy cars because they were laying off the people who were the best buyers of the cars, the people who worked in the plants. And then the economy began to shrink. The industrial base of the United States economy began to shrink, and the United States then sent businesses to Mexico and everywhere else they could to try to make these same super profits. This is what happened. And so our people begin to suffer not only from the drugs, but from the economic destabilization. Because we still didn't have any control over the economy. And so Detroit stands as a microcosm of what was happening all over the country. We kind of have what you call back of the bus freedom. Do what you want as long as it's in the back of the bus, right? We got a back of the bus relationship to the economic institutions. We got more people in prison than we do in college as far as young black men are concerned. We have schools where our kids go to where they become trapped, double trapped, triple trapped. They go to schools which in many instances are not teaching them anything in the first place in order to be prepared to be locked up somewhere. Then they get thrown into alternative schools, which is nothing but step one to prison. And I haven't even been in Detroit in a long time, and I'm telling you, I bet money, I put $100 on the table, Cicero, that's what's happening here, because it's happening everywhere else, right?
It's happening here.
And so what happens is then even the kids that seek out and learn something, most of them are not always learning the right thing. So they get smart, they become geniuses, they can go to University of Michigan or Harvard or wherever, and then they get sometimes dumber the smarter they get, right? Because they divorce themselves, many of them, they begin to divorce themselves from their communities because they're not learning the fundamental principle is that you have to build yourself, protect yourself, and know yourself, right? And so there's a brain drain going on in our community.
Miseducation.
You always hear them talking about people need to go back to the community, which means they left in the first place, right? It means that they don't live there. And so the best examples we have are people or athletes that will spend a few days in the community rather than athletes that it used to be when we knew the old days with the lawyers and the doctors, they lived next door, didn't they?
That's right.
And so what happens is that the people don't live in the communities, even the best. They go back, and most don't go back. They create some other community and recycle the same old problem somewhere else. And start complaining like Gates when they get arrested by the white man because they're the only Negro in the neighborhood. Because we haven't come to face the fact that we have to change our communities. Our communities are changing. But the problem is they're not changing for our benefit, they're changing for our detriment. What they're defining as progress is all these houses up and down Grand River being eliminated. Where I used to walk downtown from the old Spokane and Grand River. All of them are gone, knocked down, gone. Tell me they're going to close down Northwestern High School. That's what they tell me.
It's great.
Well, I think they gave it a reprieve.
They changed it and did something with it.
It's an alternative school.
But what do they have now?
An alternative school now.
They're building in the place where we used to live. They're not building homes that we can live in. They're building condominiums. So the fix is in. The fix is in, just like it was a fix in Harlem, just like it was a fix in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
And they talk about how these communities have improved because they have excluded more of you and they got more of them coming in now. So they didn't change the economic conditions of black folks. They just moved the rich or the richer or those who are a little closer to the rich into the center of the city and it moved us on out.
That's right. That's the plan.
We have to have a plan which is based upon African national liberation in America. It has to be a comprehensive plan which understands that there is no such thing as qualified freedom.
That's right.
There is no such thing of almost being free.
Well,
We don't want, and like I said, kudos to the election of Barack Obama because it was a real slap in the face to Jim Crow. So kudos to the election of Barack Obama. Plus, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say I wasn't cheering for the man myself, right? Because you know how you are. You watch a TV program and you see two teams playing, one of them black and one of them white, you might even not even know who they are. You know who you're going to cheer for. You know what you're going to do, you know what I'm saying? The Magic Johnson and the Lakers and and what was the name? Larry Bird in Boston. I mean, there was black folks all over the world. They reacted, and white folks all over the world reacted the same way. I was down in the Bahamas once at a lawyers conference, and they were playing in the Magic Johnson against Larry Bird. All the white folks on one side